Good evening, everybody. It's um, 1800 here on the West Coast, or 6 p.m. for civilians, and sun is shining. Solar panels are charging. Everything is charged, and I now have AC in the Pallet studio. And for some reason, YouTube won't let me go horizontal or landscape. I try to go landscape, it tells me to rotate. Confusing. Here, let me turn off that grow light. There! Now we have some decent light. I'm not going to be on too long, but I just wanted to share the good news. I'm going to reverse the camera and show you the inverter. What the hell? I didn't reverse. There we go. There's my new inverter. It's pretty much jerry-rigged up right now, but everything working. There's the power wall. It's powering that. That's got 2.8 kilowatts, and I'm going to expand it to another 2.8 by putting 10 more batteries, and I'll have 5.6. Won't that be cool? I have a solar generator that I got from EcoFlow that is 3.6 kilowatts. So my power wall in the shed will be more than our emergency generator, but it's 12 volt. The output is 120, but it's 12 volts going into the inverter. And I wasn't sure if this one was going to work right. This is the 5th one, and I've had 4 bad ones so far. But this one, I tried to test it last night with a heater, and it kept popping the circuit. I put a circuit breaker in between the battery and the inverter. I was thinking all I needed was the wattage of the inverter. Wrong thinking. I don't know why I was thinking that, but it was wrong. Because when I turned on the heater, it popped the circuit breaker, because the heater was more than 30 amps. And that 30 amps was coming off of the battery, feeding the inverter. Well, the inverter's 30 amps. Actually, 20 something. What I actually need is a 200 watt inverter. 200 amp inverter, because I have 200 amps of batteries. And the inverter can do 2,000 watts. Sure how many amps that is. I'll have to figure that out. I'm just excited that I got it working. Like I said, yesterday it was just popping the circuit breaker. So I decided not to do the heater now, and did some research why that's happening. I found out I needed a 200 amp circuit breaker. So when I ordered one from Amazon, and it's $33, but it has 200 amps. And when you go to scroll down on the screen for the inverter, it gives you 2 things that people buy with it. One is a 200 watt, excuse me, I keep doing that, 200 amp circuit breaker. I should have looked at that. Or you can get a 200 amp fuse. Either one works, but if I bought the fuse, when that pops, I have to buy another. So it was $20. So it's a pretty expensive fuse. So I opted for the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker is 33. So it's just a little bit more than the fuse, and you can reuse it. Isn't that a beautiful inverter? I've been trying to get the 3,000 watt. I paid $227 for the last 3,000 watt. Looked exactly like this one, but the fan, oh shoot, there was no output power. So the AC side didn't work. The fans did run, but the AC didn't work. So I sent it back. They gave me a refund, and I used that refund to buy a few things, and now I got this inverter. It took 3 days to arrive, which is really fast compared to the others. The others had independent sellers. This one was an actual GoWise store. GoWise actually authorized. And so there we go. It's working. It's got a remote. Really long cable. Not sure where I'm going to put the remote as of right now. I would assume I put that remote probably where I'm coming in, or I could put power switch, I guess, coming off the inverter. But I got two extensions with it's made for plugging it into an inverter. I can show that. If anybody watches my videos, you'll see this. There's a plug right there, and you go down. I got the wire going through here, and it comes down. You can see it right there. Plugs in there. There's a second one. It goes up through there to right there. That's how I'm wiring it right
That's
now.
right.
But
Let's.
I'm gonna
It's time. Time to take your meds. Take them.
But my lighting in here is still. Oops. What the hell? My lighting is still DC. Going up here. I haven't decided where to put all these lights, but they're not very bright anyway. They do light up enough in here. But I have this, which is right now running off of the inverter. Okay, is there anybody out there that could tell me something about StreamYard? Because I would love to go live on here with some people and on a panel. Do they have a trial period that you can try out? If, you know, I'm going to have to set up some kind of PayPal account so that I can get a little help to pay for it. But I would love to get people on here. I'm hoping I can plug my channel on Jehu Garcia's. So I can get some of those people over here. In fact, tonight he's supposed to go live. I believe he goes live on Monday nights, which is a terrible night. It's the first day of the work week, and I got to get up at 4 a.m. But I'm excited about my Powerwall. now I can wire up the shed so that I can have ventilation. I need to get the heat out of here. The roof is not as high now because the contractor was going to tell on me because, you know, he wanted to make the money. So I had to drop the roof. I can't have it over 15 feet. So I'm going to have it around 14 feet. You can call it good, but I need ventilation. So I'm going to put on one end, probably that end, just a vent, and on the other end I'm going to have a fan. And I want the fan to run off of the power out on the charge controller, the load, so that I can set it to run at the hottest part of the day until I can eventually set it up to a thermostat. I wish I could hook up the thermostat that's on the power wall. I got that going from the charge controller into the heart of the batteries, and it's giving me the temperature inside the batteries. So far it has not shut down. It just keeps running. And I'm charging my power box. I'm going to start using that thing again. I got to figure out a better way to have the voltage shut off, because the low voltage shut off circuit board uses too much power and kills the battery. So I don't know if it ruined the two battery packs in there that have no BMS. If it did, then I'll just put new batteries in there and put my own BMS in there. They get those two have balance boards. They don't have BMS. But I have one that I built. It shuts off when the voltage drops down to 11.5 volts. The other two keep running. Trying to figure out how I can fix that as it is right now, without cutting those open. Anybody has any ideas? This is a tech channel. I have a associate's degree from ITT. I wish I could have had somebody warn me not to go to that school, because I'm still paying on that student loan. They said they were going to help the people to graduate find jobs. Never did. And so it's a predatory loan. Apparently, Joe Biden has said that he's going to forgive the debt for those people that have loans from ITT. I haven't heard anything yet. I heard it on the news, that's it. So, hope, because I already paid the loan, but they doubled it with interest when I couldn't pay. So it was crooked as hell. I had $7,000 forgiven. That was a federal, but I had 2 state loans, and for each semester, and each year, and they've since doubled. So I'm still 24 in debt. We just tried to go solar. Unfortunately, our roof trusses are too small to handle the load. They said they could handle the load because the panels aren't that heavy, but it wouldn't meet code, so it wouldn't get a permit. So that means I'm going to have to do it myself. I could get a home equity loan to pay for it rather than their loan. And I'd still get the net metering from PGE, which is pretty cool. So my electricity bill would be whatever above what the solar panels are giving me, I would have to pay. So at worst, I would see a reduction each time I add more panels. I can do it without a loan, but it'd take longer. Right now I have a 24 watt solar panel and two 24 volt solar panel at 200 watts and two 12 volt solar panels at 100 watts each. I've got the two 12 volts wired in series, so I have 200 watts at 24 volts. And that right now, even though it's after 6 p.m., is giving me 28 volts into my power wall. And it's about 2.5 watts. I mean, amps. 2.5 amps. There's too many different terms. Drive me batty. But it's 2.5 amps on average. When I came in here, it was only going 1.5, which is odd because, well, I don't have it propped up to hit more sun in this afternoon. But I've seen it go as high as 6 amps, which is pretty good for these solar panels. The 24 volt goes 10 amps, almost 11 amps. And I got that hooked up to the solar generator. And it charged it today to 100%. So I'm happy with that. It was down to 67% this morning. So it gave me 33% long before the sun went down. So good sun today. And it's not that hot. It's only about 88. Hot enough for me. Actually, I can handle more. But I'm sweating. I don't feel uncomfortable, but I'm sweating. I like doing my videos live because I can do a longer video. Right now, if I was doing just a regular video in post, it would have been too long. It takes a lot of time to upload 15 minutes of video. But I'm over 18 minutes now, and nobody has come in. Where is everybody? Anyway, I came in here, started working on the pallet shed, set up my power box to charge, because I'm going to start using that again. Oh, we've got 29 volts. I've seen it go as high as 37 volts on the charge controller. Off my 24 volts of panels. And these panels that I got plugged in here work in low light. I'm pretty sure that the 24 volt is not charging right now. You get a few cells shaded, it shuts down. I'm not very happy with that. But when there's no shading at all, it charges like a champ. But the cheap ones, they charge a lot of voltage with low light. I'd have clouds outside and I'm getting over 20 volts. but the 24 volt panel, nothing. It doesn't register on the solar generator as charging. It might do this thing. That means it's charging, but I didn't see any watts. So, certain ways I'm happy with that solar panel, and other ways I'm not. I'm going to have to put it on the roof of the house and somehow get it so that it won't slide off. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Share it everywhere. I decided to go live right now because I'm excited. My power wall is up and running now. I have a inverter running the AC, and my solar panels are charging at 30 volts, which is pretty awesome for low light. The sun is almost down past the house, but these panels will keep charging with ambient light, where the big one doesn't charge with ambient. I don't know why. And I'm charging up my power box so I can use it. I had it plugged in to AC for a little bit so that I can get the power up. It was shut off because it was below 11.5 volts. But it's up over 11 and 11.8. It's probably 12 volts now. But it was sitting idle for a couple of months, and it still had 10 volts on it, which I'm happy with, since it ran down and shut off, but it still had voltage on it. I had to pull a fuse, otherwise it would have run down to 0. There's a voltage cutoff, but apparently I don't have it wired right, because the voltage cuts off so that I can't use the box, but the batteries still run down, so it's kind of useless. So I need a better voltage cutoff, maybe one without a meter on it. I only need to know the voltage when it shuts off and I want to turn it on, so I really don't need the meter. So who's in the chat? Dallas Baldy's. Hey, welcome, Dallas. What the hell? What just happened? Oh, it's like the camera reversed on me. I wasn't even touching that. Now this room right here is my Pallet studio, which is a mess right now because I had to store stuff in here. I take stuff out of a room that was in the house that we were using for storage. We needed to use that room for a guest, so all the stuff came out here, and I am trying real hard to organize this. Okay, YouTube says I don't have anybody here. Are you still here? I had thumbs up before I showed anybody in the room, and now it shows 0 again. For some reason, it would. Oh, welcome back. For some reason, this live stream wouldn't work in the horizontal. It only works in the vertical. I put it horizontal like I normally do, and it told me I need to turn it. Alright, so that's why my screen is like it is. It wouldn't let me do it the other way. YouTube's finicky. Right now I got a light strip up here. You can see it back there. It's longer than my shed, and it's just a bunch of LEDs. I also have a USB grow light. It came with a plug that is 3 amps at 5 volts. But I plug it straight into the USB plug and it works fine. I don't have it on right now. See, I'll turn the other one over so I can plug it in. Oops, that's not it. All right. Oh, there it is. Now that's gonna flash. There we go. There we go. I got the overhead grow light going. One USB. It doesn't get hot either. I still have some carrots in here. I see a lot of them have died, so I don't have to pull them. But in one corner of my shed, right here, I have a workbench. It's a little cluttered right now, but that's going to be my workbench. These boxes are going to go away when I build this side. I have storage over there, storage over here, go all the way up. And I'll have storage up there. Right now I just have a tarp up there, so I really can't store anything there. It's hot in here. But I need to get the roof finished. And I talked to somebody, possibly could help, but it's going to cost me $2,700 for some help on this. I wish I could get somebody to come and help me on it. Feed them. But I ran the inverter all day long, not knowing if it worked or not, and apparently it does. The lights were still on when I got home, but it only has 2 plugs, so I got to figure out something to put a power strip and then run plugs around the shed. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put all the plugs. Just in case of flood, maybe I should put them up here. I've got one on the roof, the ceiling right now. It allows me to plug in lights. But I'm gonna, now that I have a working inverter, it's 2,000 watts, pure sine. I can put a mini fridge in here. Which will be cool. I think I'll put the mini fridge underneath the workbench. That workbench is going to go up a little bit. It's at a really good level right now, but it needs to go up over the table saw. I might have to build some framing there so that I have a table over the table saw, so I can slide it in and out and still use the space and keep the workbench at the level it is, maybe bring it up a couple inches. I have a large pallet outside that I want to put here. But if I want to keep it that level, I'm going to have to either, well, the boxes are not going to be there. So I'm going to use that pallet to put underneath it. And I have this power wall right here. Why does it do that? That power wall right there. That. I got it going up that way, but I actually want to change that and put it under the pallet. I will only be able to put one row, but if I work it right, I can put one row facing one direction, one row facing the other direction, and use the power strip right there. Right at the tip of my finger is a power strip. I got all 10 of those batteries hooked to it, and it's capable of 200 amps. So that's what I want to do with that. But I just wanted to get the system up working for now. Now that I got it up and working, I can start doing, tweaking it a bit so that I have better storage. I may not have to really, put a drawer there. I can just put wood across there and, with screws so I can take it down and just put them up in there. Tie the power strip to the bottom of the pallet and just plug them in. But I can put a lot of batteries in there. I can essentially double that and only fill up one side. Then I can fill up the other side with 20 more. And I could run a cable going to the house to a box with a plug. One of those RV plugs, and run that wire into the house and put up a panel that will switch automatically when power goes out. What will happen when power goes out, the grid power shuts down, that switch will switch over and it'll only power essential circuits in the house. I'm gonna probably have to get an electrician to help me wire that up, or I figure it out myself. But I'd rather have professionals so that I won't have any problems. I don't trust my skills that much, because my wife's craft room has some really strange wiring I haven't been able to fix. Well, see, I'm going to have to cut big holes in the wall to figure it out. I have to have 2 switches on to run the ceiling fan. Stupid. And the lights. They're pot lights. But I can't really separate it from the ceiling fan. Weird. It's supposed to be on different circuits. But, I have that set up. I won't really need the solar generator. Which would be cool. I got a box right here, down here, that I want to build a solar generator in. It'll be a lot bigger than the one we've got now. Using those same batteries. But I'll have to break them out. Those batteries are in 5 segments. Um, Basically five batteries in the battery pack, and each battery is 4S and 3P. And each 4S has its own battery management system, so that's very safe. Um, I've come out here in the morning to grab something, and all the lights are off. And I look, and the power gauge for the batteries was off. Uh-oh. Did I ruin my batteries? And I put the multimeter on there, I had 0. So I remember they get down to a certain voltage level and they shut off, so that it doesn't deplete anymore. And that's 11.5. That's the default setting of the BMS. I can't change it, but under 11.5 you cause battery damage, which I'm worried about the power box. But there's 15 BMSs in each of those battery packs. The way they are wired is you have the 5 segments are independent battery packs, and they run skinny wires, actually 3 sets of red, 3 sets of black, going down the length of the battery pack, and they all meet up at the end of it. And what I did is I wired some 10 gauge wire with XT60s, and it's capable of 20 amps with that setup. With the old wires, it was only capable of 10 amps. So essentially, plugged into power strip, it has 10 plugs on it. So you have 10 battery packs going into this that are capable of 20 amps each. What does that equal? 200 amps. So I made a mistake when I wired this. I wanted to get it working, so I plugged in a 30 amp circuit breaker, and that got everything up and running. I plug in a heater, pops the circuit breaker. Well, it's only 30 amps, and the heater is probably around 1800 watts, which I have to do some math to figure out how many amps. I can't do it in my head, not yet. I still have to ground this system. There's a ground pole on the inverter. It's not grounded yet. So if I have a lightning strike, we're in trouble. Or have a power surge, which shouldn't be. It could cause the inverter to catch fire, but the batteries will be fine. These batteries do not catch fire. If there's an over voltage, they shut off. If there's a under voltage, they shut off. If there's a over current, they shut off. Under current, they shut off. If they're fully charged, it turns off the charge. So it's pretty safe. The chemistry of the batteries is not flammable. There's no cobalt in it. And it's the cobalt mixed with the lithium that causes it to catch fire. And lithium ion is cobalt. It's actually lithium cobalt. I do have lithium cobalt batteries right here. This is a 12 volt pack. Right now it's not working because the wire came unsoldered. But all I do is hook it up here. Actually not there. Here. I don't want to try it because it looks like it's a little blob of solder on the side of the negative. So I don't want a chance. But I bought a power strip. This is cool. It's a project that I'm going to work on. Should I reverse this? Why does it do that? It doesn't reverse right away. See that battery pack right there? I mean, charger. That is a 6-gang charger from Ryobi. It doesn't have power storage. It charges those batteries, and that's it. It has a USB up on the top part, but I have to have it plugged in for the USB power. What I want to do is put a small inverter inside that. I've got one right there. Okay. It's the same message. But in order to fit that inverter in there, I have to take it apart and take the cover off of it, which is going to cause a heat problem, so I'll have to put a fan in there. I'm not sure what it's going to look like on the inside. It might be able to fit it like that. That's a 400 watt amp inverter. I want to put it inside of this. You see how wide it is right now? I think there's room in there to put that inverter. And I want to put a power port here, a DC power port. One of these guys. And on the top end, it's got the USB. See it? There. You can see the USB right there. But that USB is not powered off these batteries. So I'd have to put a converter in there to run the USB. I think the USB already has one, but I have to wire it straight into the batteries. And I don't have that yet. But I do know how. Know how I can find a way to do it. There are channels on YouTube that have a couple of people. I watched their videos. They converted that to a portable generator, and I'll just add that to my collection. But it's possible I could build something like that for somebody else. I built this thing. Stop that. This power box. Right now, it was reading 10.1 volts. And I plugged it in to the system, and now it's 12.8. So it's charging. It's charging via a SAE cable, and these I need to add to the batteries on these bus bars. There's negative, there's positive. I'm going to move all this stuff because I almost hooked this up to that negative port. That would have caused it probably to blow a fuse on the inside. I don't know. But this is the power wall as it is right now. I have a Renogy solar charge controller. The solar panel's going up. I mean, the cable going up here. It's a little jerry-rigged at the moment, but it's going out here. And see, you can see the edge of the solar panel right there. There's the big one. 24 volt, and these two are in series. They're 24 volt also. In series, they're 24. Hopefully this tech talk is not boring the shit out of you. I love to talk this stuff. As you can see, the sun is still shining here. But the solar generator is sitting in the house is fully charged. It charged really good today. But the power wall in here wasn't fully charged. It was 13.5 volts, 13.8 is full. I've seen it as high as 14.3. That's not good for these batteries, but it doesn't shut them off. That's the highest I've seen it. I'm at 14.3 and then drop down to 13.6. And I believe that is the top balance part of the BMS. But this one goes up to 14.5, which hopefully doesn't damage it. But I have a 200 watt circuit breaker coming tomorrow, just like the one I have on here, but bigger. I had a choice: circuit breaker, 200 watt circuit breaker, or a 200 watt fuse. Now, if I end up with 210 volts, or no, current, 200 amp. Why do I keep saying watts? If for some reason I get 250 amps for a short period of time, just long enough for it to pop the fuse, I gotta buy a new fuse. And that fuse is over 20 bucks. So I opted to get the circuit breaker. One thing, saves you money, because it pops the circuit instead of blowing the fuse. And that's a big fuse. So circuit breaker is much more efficient. Eventually, what I'm going to have in here is a programmable parameters for the whole works. I have it in this power box down here that I haven't started building. It uses a shunt, and it will keep it a whatever parameters I set for voltage, wattage, amps, upper and lower limits, charge, how I want it to charge. I would much rather this don't fully charge. I would rather it go only like 80%, which means I have to have a lot more batteries, because 2.8 kilowatt hours is, if I only charge it to 80%, would that be 1.6? So I gotta get a lot more batteries. I'm just guesstimating. You know, somebody will probably tell me I'm completely wrong, which probably am. But I got a whole bunch of these. These are 26 650s. That's 3 amp hours. I have a bunch of those. That's what I want to put in the power box. I have a small suitcase size power box, and I have one that's on wheels. The suitcase one is very portable. I had 4 of those batteries in it, and that thing was heavy. I've got 10 now. I'm going to turn that fan towards me now. There we go. I have a Ryobi fan on our batteries. I charged up these batteries really quick. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I am going to call it quits for now, but just had to say, you know, show my excitement that the Powerwall finally up and running. And I think the game is on right now. So anybody that sees the video, come on over to the game. I don't have a link, but one of my videos, there's a link. Not sure one of my tech videos, batteries. Well, that's it for now. I'll try to be on same time tomorrow. Try to do this every day. So spread the word. I talk about gardening. I talk about batteries, power walls, and I talk about my pallet shed that I built. Just pretty much using pallets and a little bit of lumber. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it without 2x4s. And I used scrap plywood on the roof. My father, actually the roof, the ceiling. My father had his roof redone, and I ended up with extra plywood. So yeah, I'm in it about $800 right now. And I picked up more pallets from different locations. In fact, I used one of the pallets. I had 2 pallets left over that I used on the walls, and kind of wished I'd had them when I finished off the wall, because I kind of jerry-rigged that last corner. I got some long pallets that are, well, they'll work once I put the rest of the wall up. But I'm using them for shelves. And, well, they're not in a position for me to put batteries in it. It's facing the wrong way. So is the other one. So I might be putting the batteries in the lower one. Let's figure out a way to do it. Oh, who just came in? You caught me at the tail end. I have another channel to go to right now. So I try to be on around, I'm trying to get a good time to come on. Around 4 o'clock is when I want to come on. But if, somewhere 4 or 5 o'clock is when I come online. And we can talk about just about anything. And if anybody comes in and they know anything about StreamYard, I need to learn about StreamYard. So we can have a panel. That would be cool. I'll even talk about politics, there's mine. We can talk about why Trump is bad. If you can be civil. I would love to have a discussion with somebody that thinks Trump's bad and can explain why. I will need facts. Anyway, gardening, electronics, batteries, power walls, Tesla. My favorite person in history is Tesla, Nikola Tesla, and he was AC, and now I'm building DC circuits. Kind of funny, huh? Well, I'm trying to figure out a way to do AC stuff too. So I do research Tesla. So somehow I want to, use some of Tesla's knowledge, pick his brain, so to speak, and add that into my system. I recently heard about a system that they have at Niagara Falls. When they had that power grid go down over at the East Coast, Northeast, several states without power. Niagara Falls still had power. And the reason is they have something that Tesla built. And it kept the city lit. Completely free of the grid. Which is pretty impressive. It's a city. It's not just a house or a small neighborhood. It's a city. And then there's no hydro. Not Niagara. Oh, it would be pretty good hydro right there. They need to come up with a different design so they don't have to build a dam. That's always flowing heavy. I don't see a need for a dam. Well, anyway, that's it for tonight. I'll be going on the game. I wish I could raid. I don't have any people to raid with. So good night and happy powering.